Donald Trump has taken to Truth Social, issuing a new warning to Iran, ordering the country to come to the table and make a deal on its nuclear program, with the US president writing, "Time is running out. It's truly of the essence. The next attack will be far worse. Don't make that happen again." And here's Donald Trump speaking at a rally yesterday.
They were about a month away from having a nuclear weapon. We had to do it. And by the way, there's another beautiful armada floating beautifully toward Iran right now. So we'll see. I hope they make a deal. I hope they make a deal. They should have made a deal the first time they'd have a country.
Let's bring in Australia's longest-serving Foreign Minister, Alexander Downer, joins us this week from New Zealand. Good to talk to you, Alexander. Is this really about the nuclear deal? Because if it is, then that's an admission perhaps that those important attacks on Iran last year perhaps didn't do the damage that was claimed at the time. Or is this also about the massacre of dissidents and the civil unrest in Iran at the moment?
So I think it's a lot to do with the civil unrest and the, as you put it, the massacre of the dissidents, because President Trump has threatened Iran with military action if that massacre doesn't stop. And he's talked over the last week about negotiations that are taking place with the Iranian regime. I think his message is that the Americans will target Islamic Republican Guard sites if they don't start making some sort of a liberalisation initiative, in particular allowing the demonstrators to demonstrate, and of course wrapping up the nuclear program once and for all as well.
Of course, we can't get verifiable information out of Iran, but it seems certain that at least tens of thousands of protesters have been killed by the regime, shocking numbers of people gunned down by their own government for protesting. And certainly when it comes to motivations for possible American military action, that seems to be the focus from the Secretary of State. Here's Marco Rubio.
Protests may have ebbed, but they will spark up again in the future because this regime, unless they are willing to change and or leave, have no way of addressing the legitimate and consistent complaints of the people of Iran who deserve better.
Look, while under Donald Trump, the US military took decisive action against the nuclear program last year, also the evilness, if you like, of this regime, both against its own people and the terrorism it's sponsored around the world, especially against Israel, has been talked about and known by Western countries for so long. Would Trump really take military action to try and turn things around?
I think, because you never know with President Trump, he's unpredictable, and there's a lot of advantage in being unpredictable, but it's possible he could launch attacks on the Islamic Republican Guard Corps, which are the people who basically uphold the regime. I mean, this is a big operation. They have some estimate up to 1 million members, but they are the basic military support for the regime. So I think the Trump administration could launch attacks on their various bases and headquarters. They could do, but they obviously want to keep pressure on the regime. Ayatollah Khamenei has apparently, the supreme leader, has apparently gone into hiding somewhere. Nobody seems to know where he is, though you'd expect the Israelis might know.
Exactly.
So we'll just have to wait and see how it unfolds.
And let's remember that this action and these threats and the moving of these military assets is likely saving innocent Iranian lives as we speak. It's likely keeping Iran back from killing its own people. This is what the Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Arachni says. He says our brave armed forces are prepared with their fingers on the trigger to immediately and powerfully respond to any aggression against our beloved land, air and sea. So that's the sort of the defiance you get from Iran. We will see what unfolds there. But Alexander, I wanted to get your thoughts too on East Timor, a country that you were a pivotal player when Australia helped deliver independence for that country. Anthony Albanese's been there this week. He signed a new broad agreement, including security. Here's what the Prime Minister had to say.
Partnership cements our cooperation across economic, security, development and people-to-people relations right across the board. Supporting our partners along the journey of economic development and resilience is so important for securing opportunities for the entire region.
Now, East Timor's never really had a better friend than Australia. Has anything changed under this agreement?
No, this is just a continuation of our relationship with East Timor. They are not very easy people to deal with, to tell you the truth, but nevertheless, we don't want East Timor to fall under the influence of China. And so the Prime Minister's visit there is very timely, and the security agreement with them is entirely appropriate. So I'm glad it's all sort of going reasonably well, but it's not a country that has been very well run. But we delivered back in 1999. We delivered their nationhood to them. Australia has been absolutely pivotal in supporting the new East Timor. So it's nice for them occasionally to reciprocate the compliment, because most of the time they just criticise us.
Indeed. All right, Alexander, good to catch up with you again. We'll see you in Sydney next week. We'll catch up with you in person. Alexander Downer there live from New Zealand. He's speaking in Sydney next week at a Centre for Independent Studies event. Jump onto their website if you get the chance, and I'll be catching up with Alexander's biographer, Tony Parkinson, next Monday before that event on Tuesday night in Sydney.